Hi guys, this is Najeeb here, Managing Director of Najeeb Real Estate. A question that people always ask is lowering interest rate or OCR, is it good for the economy? Yes and no. Yes is because it gets the economy going. So when you lower the interest rate, the economy start accelerating. Makes sense, right? Because money is cheap, interest rate is cheap, so people can buy houses and buy stuff, right? But the mistake that these puppet masters make, the government, is that they don't look at the 5 variables that we speak about all the time. They need to be all in check. So if you lower the interest rate, you must increase the supply of real estate or supply of stuff, because people are going to start buying stuff, and if there's not enough supply, the demand goes through the roof, meaning the prices increase, right? So let me cover this one by one. I've put some notes here so I don't miss nothing. The puppet masters are the Reserve Bank and the government. And when National comes in power, they lower interest rate and they deregulate. Like everything, like if it's the healthy home, they make it easier. If it's on tenants, they make it, you got 90 days notice you can give to tenants to leave. So they make it, they do more deregulation, which is, I suggest, is a better way to run a government, right? Take care of the society or the people. Then Labour comes in, they raise interest rates, they put more taxes on, they raise taxes, and what they do, they also bring heaps of regulations, because they say they're not for the rich, they're for normal middle class and poor people. But this is, the byproduct is this: when Labour comes in and increases taxes, the taxes get passed on to the middle class and lower class people. What happens is then it actually struggle happens. Like what happened is in recently, in the last few years, right? You don't need to go far to look at what they did. Printed a whole lot of money trying to help people, the poor middle class, right? What did they do? They made the rich richer and the poor middle class squeezed. So what these politicians do is they just come in to get votes, to get elected, and unfortunately that's all they're interested in, elected and re-elected. And now National has come in, they had great things in mind. They're going to bring the house prices between 3 to 5 times the household income, which I was all happy for. But now they've forgotten about that. They're dropping the interest rate to get the economy going, because 18 months later, they want to get some votes, right? So unfortunately, they are not interested in you and mine economy or your financial situation. What they're interested in getting them selected and deselected. The 5 variables that I talk about all the time is median house prices. We got to keep an eye on that. If the median house price is going up between 2 to 4%, it's all cool. But if you're going up to 5 or 10%, or upwards of 4%, or double digits like it did, it's a dangerous thing. You got to keep an eye on it. And if that happens, then you got to increase the supply, because if the median price is increasing so high, why is it? It's because the interest rate is usually very low and there's heaps of demand, not enough supply. So next thing is we got to watch is number of annual sales. How many homes sold for the last 12 months? And then you let people be able to, the developers, to fast track. If the number of houses sold, whole lot of houses sold, now the market is getting so busy. So what I need to do, I make it easier for developers. They can develop more properties to come to the market so they can release it. So that takes tension off the demand, right? So demand, more supply means less. Even if the demand is high, people's got a lot of supply, right? The next thing is supply of inventory. So if you now at the moment I'm talking about they're decreasing the OCR and the interest rate, great, cool, because that gets the economy going. Now, if you don't have enough supply, then what happens is the prices again will go up, and we do not want that. Because why I'm against it now is because things are becoming unaffordable. People can't afford to buy houses. Now, I'm concerned about the next generation and generation after that, our kids and the grandkids, because The houses, New Zealand is one of the most unaffordable places to own real estate in or to live in. If we keep on doing what we're doing, lowering the interest rate without increasing the supply of inventory, the market is going to keep going up. Now, coming back to how to increase the supply of inventory, you make it easier on developers to develop land. Get rid of all the bureaucracies that you guys have created, the councils. Recently, they've increased the reserve contribution or the development fee from $12,000 to $45,000, I believe. So those things need to go, because what happens is those costs of the developers are charged, those costs, they get passed on to the consumer, because consumer is the end product, right? What they do, they're going to sell it to them for an increased price, right? So, and also, the first thing is the bureaucracy that they bring in. Number two is also they need to bring competition for the products that the builders buy. So the prices of building come back. Because if the price of building comes back and the bureaucracy you get rid of, what happens? Developers now all of a sudden, the house that was costing $500,000 to build, now it's costing $275,000. So they would just give a little bit of margin on it rather than on $500,000. Majority of those margin goes to the council and to the government. And what they do with our money, they don't do good with it anyways. So what I'm suggesting to the government is to bring the bureaucracy cost down and create more supply or product so people have got competition, like these companies like Martin and whatever companies, they've got competition so they can adjust their prices to sell their product. And then the next thing is mortgage fluctuation. I spoke about this. Mortgage fluctuation is like, this is what you call the puppet masters, the Reserve Bank control that. They lower the interest rate to get the economy going. They high the interest rate to slow the economy down. But like I said, that is not the only variable they should be in check, because it's unhealthy to get the economy going and not have that inventory increase, because the price is going to keep increasing, right? Next thing is affordability. Affordability is your interest rate as well as the unemployment rate. So what happens is, we talk about the Phillips curve, that unemployment is low. When the unemployment is low, usually the economy is pumping, everything is happening, right? That increased inflation, because there's heaps of work and things for people, and people can go and buy stuff, because when interest rate is low, things are cheap. When the market is good, I've got a job, so I don't have to worry about it. So the next thing is unemployment high. When unemployment is going high like it is now, then because they're lowering interest rate, they're pumping, they're getting the economy going, right? That increased the unemployment to go higher. So when unemployment is high, the inflation is low, because when people struggle, the economy is not, everything is not happening at the moment, then the inflation lowers. And the inflation is lower now, which is at just 2.2%, I think last I checked. 2.7%, thank you very much, Najeeb. 2.7% last time we checked, but it needs to be under 2% to stay unaffordable. And if, like they're doing, dropping the interest rate to win votes, that inflation is going to increase. So, back to your question, is lowering the interest rate good for New Zealand economy? Yes, it is, but we need to check everything else, keep everything else in check as well. And interest rate, I reckon LCR, I think interest rate should sit around. At the moment, I think I just fixed one at 4.85, I think 4.75. I think it must sit at that price, because if you get any lower than that, the economy is going to they get busier, and the economy gets busier, prices go through the roof, the unemployment decreases again, and then once again you've got this inflation happening, and that is not healthy. So the 5 variables we come back to, those are very important. So as politicians, they should look at those things, because it's our kids' future, our grandkids' future that we've got to think about, not about today getting elected and re-elected. Hope this has been of help to you. Have a great day, and talk to you in the next episode.